First of all, once again, taqabbalallahu ta'atukum, may Allah Azza wa Jalla accept your good deeds and beyond. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us consistent and firm upon all that which is pleasing to Him. And may Allah Azza wa Jalla allow us to carry forward whatever it is that we gained in Ramadan and to only make it better. Allahumma ameen. Just some quick guidance in regards to the 6 days of Shawwal. When to fast the 6 days of Shawwal, what's the manner in which you fast them. So the Prophet ﷺ obviously mentioned that whoever fasts Ramadan and completes its fast and then follows it up with 6 days of Shawwal, it's as if he fasted the entire year. Now, there are two ways to understand this narration. One of them is the way of the majority, which is sitta min Shawwal, means 6 within Shawwal itself. Another understanding is the understanding of Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala, that sitta min Shawwal means starting from Shawwal onwards, because al-hasanatu bi-ashri amthaliha, a good deed is multiplied by 10. And so, according to that understanding, that would mean that any 6 days throughout the year outside of Ramadan would technically achieve that reward, because every deed is multiplied by 10. So if you fast 1 month, it's multiplied by 10 months. 6 days means 2 months essentially of fasting. Okay? So that's a minor opinion as to how to understand that hadith, but just to kind of give you the range of opinions here. So first and foremost, is there 6 in Shawwal itself, or is it 6 starting from Shawwal? So the majority of the ulama understood that there is something limited in blessing in terms of the time frame itself to fasting within Shawwal itself. Now, if you have days to make up from Ramadan, do you make up the days from Ramadan first, or do you fast the 6 days of Shawwal first, or do you combine the intentions of the of the days that you're making up as well as the 6 days? Again, there's a difference of opinion here. Some of the scholars said that the hadith mentions completing the fasting of Ramadan. Whoever fasts Ramadan and completes it. And so the argument would be that if a person has days to make up, they technically have not yet completed Ramadan, and therefore they should prioritize making up those days first, and then they would fast the 6 days of Shawwal. Another group of scholars, they said that the make-up days of Ramadan are for the year, whereas the 6 days of Shawwal are limited to a time frame which is of the month of Shawwal itself. And they used the evidence from Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha that she was making up fasts from the previous Ramadan in the Sha'ban of the year that follows, meaning she was still making up some of her fasts from Ramadan in the month before the Ramadan after, 11 months later. And in that, they deduced that there is no way that our mother Aisha radiallahu anha and others like her would have skipped the virtue of such days, or understood that they were doing something that was wrong by delaying the days in such a fashion. So how do we combine between these opinions, and how do we approach this from a very practical perspective? What I tell people, and Allah knows best, is that if you have 2 or 3 days to make up, or even 4 days to make up of Ramadan, and you're confident that you can make up the days of Ramadan first, and you can also fast the 6 of Shawwal, then it's always good to be able to accommodate and take that opinion, inshaAllah ta'ala. If you only have a few days to make up, make them up and fast the 6 days, walhamdulillah. However, if you have many days to make up and you don't think that you're going to be able to do both those as well as the 6 days of Shawwal, the majority of the scholars would say that because there's a limited time frame of the 6th of Shawwal, then you can fast the 6th of Shawwal first, and you can make those days up, inshallah ta'ala, throughout the year. Can you combine the make-up days with the 6 days of Shawwal? A very minor opinion allows that, but it's a very minor opinion, and it's weak from an usuli perspective, because the default is that you cannot combine an obligatory deed with a voluntary deed. You cannot combine an obligatory deed, a fard, with a nafilah. You can combine 2 voluntary deeds, but you can't combine both a fard and a nafilah. What that looks like practically is that, for example, tomorrow is what day? 2nd of Shawwal. Tomorrow is, inshallah ta'ala, Monday, right? So for example, if a person wants to combine the intention, if you will, of getting the blessing of fasting on a Monday, which is a sunnah, as well as fasting one of the 6 days of Shawwal, then bi'idhnillahi ta'ala they would achieve that reward. If a person says that I'm going to fast my 6 days of Shawwal and use the opportunity to gain the habit of fasting Mondays and Thursdays, or the middle 3 days of the month, being the 13th, 14th, and 15th of the Islamic calendar, alhamdulillah, that is khair as well. So a person can space out all of their 6 days and say, I'll take the first 6 of the Mondays and Thursdays, or I'll take a Monday, Thursday, a Monday, and then I'll do 3 days and knock them out that way, and I'll get the blessing that way. That's one way of approaching it, and it's fine, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Some of the scholars preferred that the 6 days of Shawwal should be fasted as quickly as possible. They put preference that basically right after the day of Eid, you should try your best to fast all of them as quickly as possible, because obviously as time goes on, we know how things slip. I think most people can remember a Shawwal where they had 1 or 2 days to make up, and then they just realized that the month is going to end, and then they found themselves in a difficult situation practically. Okay? So all of that to say that I would approach it one of 2 ways. Either try your best to fast them as soon as possible, or try your best to use them to gain the habit of fasting some of the sunnah days that you intend to fast bi'idhnillahi ta'ala after the month of Shawwal as well, being Mondays and Thursdays or the middle 3 days of the month. But it should be one of those 2 approaches, inshallah ta'ala. And of course, tomorrow offers us an opportunity to combine both, because it is a Monday, as well as, inshallah ta'ala, an opportunity to immediately start that habit of Shawwal. My recommendation to everyone as well is bring in the ingredients of your Ramadan fast into your Shawwal fast. What does that mean? Think about, for example, how much Quran would you read in a day of Ramadan when you're fasting? Try to read the same amount of Quran in a day of Shawwal. Make that a day, for example, you used to pray Taraweeh every single night. Say, for example, I'm going to pray my Qiyam that night, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, just to keep some of those same special features of Ramadan infused into the fasting as well, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to fast these days, and may Allah Azza wa Jal grant us the reward of fasting for an entire lifetime, kasiyami dahr. And may Allah Azza wa Jal allow us to meet Him on the Day of Judgment as if we fasted every day of our lives. And may Allah Azza wa Jal forgive us for our shortcomings in Ramadan and after Ramadan. And may Allah allow us to stay consistent upon those good deeds after Ramadan. Allahumma ameen. Barakallahu feekum. Once again, Eid Mubarak. Oh, questions? Yeah. Good question. Friday. If we start fasting tomorrow, can we fast on Friday? Yes. The dislike or even the prohibition, according to some of the schools, to fast on a Friday or a Saturday would be if you fast them alone, no day before and after, and there isn't a sabab, there isn't a reason to fast that day that existed prior to the commencement of that day. So for example, the day of Arafah on a Friday or Saturday is fine. Or if you fast Siyam Dawood alayhi salam, which is to fast every other day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, then it's fine, inshallah ta'ala. So the only thing is if you single out the day of Friday without an existing reason. Some of the scholars even mentioned, some of the ulama also mentioned, let's say for example, you think that that Shawwal is going to end and you find yourself in a situation where you only have a Friday to make up that last day of Shawwal, then it's fine bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So the idea here is that the sabab should exist before the waqt, before the time comes, and you shouldn't do something that is specific to the time, especially when there's a prohibition or a dislike that's been associated with that. So feel free to fast, inshallah ta'ala, and make up those days as they come, inshallah. And if you want, you can knock them out as a straight shot, inshallah ta'ala, from Monday onwards, bidnillah. Jazakumullah khairan.